BHP Billiton shareholders have voted in favor of the demerger of metals and mining group South32. I'm joined by Paul Whitfield, correspondent for The Deal. Paul, give us the details of the vote and how it's all gone.
Hey, Brittany. So they've approved this overwhelmingly. We had the proxy votes in very soon after the results of the proxy voting very soon after the meeting. And there was 97% for in the Sydney meeting, in the Australian meeting, and 98% for in the London meeting. There was twin meetings happening at the same time. So this has been approved by an overwhelming majority.
So why do you think the overwhelming majority have approved this? Why has BHP decided to do this?
Well, what they're sold this on is essentially BHP has this idea of the four pillars, which are petroleum, copper, iron ore, coal, and potash. And I know that's five, but they call it the four pillars. And this is their core businesses. What they're actually demerging is a bunch of assets, manganese, nickel, silver, that aren't part of this strategy and that are nonetheless, that are at the same time, smaller assets. So it's businesses that don't have the size, the scale, and don't have the longevity that BHP wants to focus on. The idea is that they were going to dispose of about 6.5 billion worth of assets. This, spinning this off, gets rid of an awful lot of those assets and gives them the management time and essentially the capital to focus on the big assets that they want to build up and maintain.
Okay, so that's BHP. What about South32? What does the future hold for this new company?
Well, the first question they've got to answer is how much it's worth. We've got sort of analysts telling me anything between about 7 billion and as much as 14 billion at the most optimistic. Let's assume it comes in at about 10 billion. What they'll do is they've essentially got an awful lot of cost cutting to do. They've got some fairly sort of niggly little assets that they may want to move on. They've got other assets that they're going to try and extend the mine life, and they're going to want to cut costs, jobs, and other capital expenditure, a lot of their operations. They also have an interesting state of affairs as much as they have very little debt. So they can go out almost immediately and start to buy up companies or buy up assets. It's probably not going to be exciting deals. There's some minority shareholdings in some of their mines that they might snap up. The more exciting side is that on the flip side, they're also potentially or even likely to be a target. They've got good assets. They've got assets that interest two people in particular, two people that know each other. It's Mick Davis, the former Xstrata head, who's now head of X2 Resources, which has about $5.6 billion US freshly raised, and he's looking for a mining company to build. And Glencore, which is even Glasenberg is the CEO, chairman, and majority owner. And it's some of the listeners might remember, or some of the viewers might remember, that it was Glasenberg that actually ousted Davis from Xstrata when Glencore bought Xstrata. So these two are likely to vie for the business eventually at this stage, if a bid comes forth.
Oh, so clearly a lot to watch there. Thank you so much, Paul Whitfield, correspondent for The Deal.
You're welcome, Brittany. Bye.
And I'm Brittany Umar for The Street.